to BizTech's Technology Show. Today, we feature Joaquin Pedro Moreno. He's the head of Asia Pacific at dLocal. Now, dLocal is a NASDAQ-listed company whose headquarters are in Montevideo in Uruguay. It powers local payments in emerging markets, connecting global enterprise merchants with billions of emerging market consumers across over 40 countries in the Asia-Pacific region, Middle East, Latin America, and Africa. Now, to tell us more, welcome to the show, Joaquin.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks a lot for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Now, for a start, could you give us an overview of dLocal and its history? We don't get many companies from Uruguay on BizTech Asia. You are the first.
Sure, of course. Well, dLocal, it's, as you mentioned, a NASDAQ public company that focus on helping big corporations that are willing to do business in emerging markets. So basically, we provide them a financial infrastructure for them to be able to collect or to disburse payments. Those, I would say, are our main services. But yeah, we support the Googles, the Ubers, the Spotifys that are willing to collect payments in Nigeria, Argentina, Uruguay, Thailand, or Malaysia, and other 40 markets that I can list, and help them to collect local payment via local payment methods there, and then send them the funds to wherever they have their entity. And with this, they save a lot of cost of open local entities, hiring local people, and yeah, doing a local setup. That's pretty much what we sort out for them.
Now, what is your customer footprint like in the Asia-Pacific region? Which sectors do you get most of your customers from?
So we are pretty much agnostic in the industries that we operate. So we have a lot of customers from the retail industry, but also from streaming platforms, or yeah, also we can think about ride-hailing apps or payroll companies as well. So pretty much every company that has an e-commerce or is selling some good or service online, it's a good fit for our company. And of course, that is looking to do businesses in emerging markets. So it doesn't matter if the company is in Asia, Europe, US, or Latin America. If they want to do transactions in emerging markets, online transactions, that's always a good fit for dLocal. I think a pretty good benefit is that for the footprint that we have as for today, the network and the connections, with only one API, we managed to sort out the 40 markets at the same time, which is also very, very good for technical companies that have limited resources to do integration. So one single connection allowed you to process payments in 900 payment methods in more than 40 emerging markets.
That is a very big competitive advantage because, like you said, this is often the huge problem, right? The integration of the API.
Correct, 100% agree. And usually once you have the connection with the merchant, it makes way more easier to take decisions of open a new market or merchants that started with dLocal like 5 years ago, processing with us in Brazil. They are already using us to process volumes in Thailand, but also in Kenya via mobile money or via OVO in Indonesia as well. So it's pretty diverse. And once that connection is in place, also the merchants want to take the most leverage as possible.
Now, what is your view on the recent implementation of the new regional cross-border payment system by Southeast Asian nations? How do you see this kind of impacting the whole region's financial landscape?
I think it's amazing. Every time that you see governments trying to promote less friction in the payments, meaning better delivery times, or meaning a lower cost, or meaning more convenience, it ends up promoting or increasing the amount of transactions or giving access to people that maybe in the past years were not able to access to some kind of services. So overall, we always see this as a very, very nice trend that it will be very interesting to see how it evolves, because I know it's quite early stages. It can have some complexities that we are not seeing today, but overall I think it's a very, very nice initiative from the governments. I know that it's a pilot Southeast Asia, so eventually this can also work in a worldwide basis, right?
And one of the key things is also something like this is going to impact tremendously things like retail and tourism in particular, because that would be, as you said, less friction in these transactions.
Definitely tourism. I think mainly all the transactions that are physical are going to have a lot of impact. We focus more in e-commerce, so probably what we are solving out today already has this technology solution in some ways, but for sure for travelers or for agencies that do a lot of cross-border intra-Asia transactions is going to be a game changer.
Now, one of the things which is, and when I was researching this interview, I realized that dLocal, whether by design or by accident, one of the key things that you actually do globally is, especially in emerging markets, you are basically make financial resources and financial ecosystem far more inclusive. Tell us about how you actually do this, I think, across the world.
Yeah, I think it's part of our mission to connect the emerging market consumer with the companies, worldwide companies. And if you see how the market was structured maybe 20 years ago, maybe the only international companies were able to reach customers who have a bank account or who have an international credit card, which in emerging markets is not the case at all. So most of these consumers are unbanked or use wallets. The average Indonesian has like 3 or 4 wallets in their phone, and probably they don't have an international credit card. If you see Kenya, 70% of the transactions are between mobile money. So they don't participate in the financial traditional system, such as the 98% of the Europeans that have a bank account. So when we connect with these local payment methods, local wallets, local the payment methods that everybody's used in their countries to do the daily transactions, and you combine that with companies that are doing international transactions, that's when you generate the impact and allow these consumers to have access to also this market, these markets and these products or services that they want. Typically, they were not able to access like 10, 20 years ago.
Now, what are your plans for dLocal in the Asia Pacific region in 2024, 2025?
So definitely, we are investing a lot of time, effort to continue to set up a competitive operation here. It's a very challenging environment, but we believe that we have a very strong capability. So it's pretty much continue the execution, continue onboarding our global merchants that are already using dLocal in other markets into the Asia Pacific market. But also my main role here in the company is also trying to get a lot of Asian companies to start transacting in Latin America with us, or in Africa or Middle East as well. So we are doing a lot of focus also in getting local Indonesian, Chinese, or Malaysian companies, for example, to start expanding their businesses among the globe.
Now, that sounds like a very fascinating initiative. Joaquin, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a really informative conversation. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
No, thank you very much, Ryan, for your time. I have a really, really nice time as well. Final thoughts, I think it's pretty much we will continue to execute the strategy that we have put in our minds, that is trying to narrow that bridge between emerging market consumers and global companies. So you can expect way more markets, way more payment methods, and continue to develop in the trends that the markets continue to develop. So the consumers are telling us what to do and where and how to do it. And that's how pretty much we have been driving the company since the beginning. So yeah, you can expect much more of dLocal in this sense.
Thank you very much for taking your time to come on the show.
No, thank you to you, Brian. Have a nice one.
Now, we've been speaking to Joaquin Pedro Moreno. He's the head of Asia Pacific at dLocal. I'm Brian Fernandez, and you've been watching and listening to BizTech's Technology Show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.